It's day number 1. Okay, we're gonna do 5 days of sourdough this month again, and I'm super excited. Super excited. It's gonna be all pumpkin, only pumpkin, just because it was voted for. So the premise of this is we make different things using a sourdough discard. Today, we're using Frederica. Okay, she's the baby of the family. We haven't used her in a while, so we're gonna be using her. Now, I do apologize if we do have connection issues. I'm not sure what's happening, but I'll go as long as possible and hopefully everything is fine. Okay, so today we are going to be making some sourdough pumpkin pancakes. It's a mouthful. This is the first time that I am making sourdough pumpkin pancakes, but I have made sourdough pancakes before. Last month I made sweet potato, and a few months back I made regular plain cakes. Okay, so we did a homemade puree on live stream. It's right here. We've made this. We started our starter back in March. This is just a byproduct. Okay, this is Frederica. This is the baby of the family. We have Junior, Frederica, and Fred the boss. So we're gonna start. It's breakfast. I am hungry, and it's something that I want. And I am gonna be using up the little one this month, just because we haven't opened her and used her in. I just don't getting over fermented or anything of sorts. So that is why we are using this one. So for the recipe, now you know I usually use grams, but I will try to give you the cup equivalent. It may not work for you, but if you use the grams, it will work. Okay, I work in grams, so I work in weight. So to start, she is looking nice and big, and she's smelling very fermented, very, very, very fermented. So we're gonna start with about 200 grams of discard. My discard tends to be active, even though it's in the fridge. So I'm just gonna be using that. Now, I also forgot, because I usually do it, I forgot to take it out in the morning. So it is still a bit cold. So we are working from a cold discard. So it's okay. Fine, we'll make it work. So 200 grams of discard is about 3/4 cups and 2 tablespoons. Don't quote me on the 2 tablespoons. Just it's about 3/4 cups. But again, I use weights. It's just better for me. So we're using cold discard. It's been sitting in this fridge for months. And we're gonna hope for the best. I know Frederica is very fermented. She has not been opened, she has not been used or anything of the sorts. But so this is 200 grams of discard that we're gonna be using. And then we need about 120 grams of pumpkin puree. Now, again, this is homemade pumpkin puree. You can use store bought. Will it be the same? Maybe, maybe not. That's okay. You can still use it. I just want to measure it out because I will be using right now. Okay, so this is the pumpkin puree that I made on live stream. You guys. So we need about 120 grams. That's grams. 120 grams is about half cup. So you just use what you have. If you have the store bought, you can use it. If you have homemade, you can definitely use it. Homemade is better flavor wise, but you use what you have. Okay. Don't worry about getting anything fancy, just use what you got. So I'm just gonna add that in here. We also need some milk. I'm gonna add the milk last because I want to gauge how wet my moisture is and then add my liquid, but I am gonna measure it. So for the milk, it's about 150 grams, give or take. You might need more, you might need less. I'm gonna be using canned milk, so I do like to dilute it with a little bit. So that's about 50 grams of milk, and then I'll add about 100 grams of water just to make the 150. That's usually how I do it. So again, this is day number 1 of our sourdough bake-a-thon. It's all about pumpkin. That's what we voted for, and that's what we have here. And we're back here for the next 4 days for sourdough. And then we continue our Vlogtober. Okay, so we need some sugar. I also have to melt some butter. We need about 25 grams of sugar. I'm using light brown sugar. If you use dark brown sugar, it might be too heavy. So just be careful of your sugar type. If you want to use granulated sugar, you can. I'm sure if you want to use maple syrup, you can. You just have to adjust accordingly. I'm using light brown sugar. It's my sugar of choice at the moment. It just gives the nice flavor, nice color. It's good. So about 25 grams of brown sugar. You can mix this in. Again, my starter is cold, so it will take a little while. And I keep saying starter, I'm using this. So basically, this is where I gauge to see if I'm going to need a lot of liquid. Once I put in the melted butter, that will tell me for sure. Sugar clumps that I'm just trying to get rid of. You shouldn't have any pumpkin clumps in here, but if you do, that's okay. It's pumpkin. See any issues with that? But I like my puree nice fine lumps and anything that it just depends. It depends on what you're going. So you just mix this in. Now, if you want to taste it, you can. Would suggest that. Not right now, no. Just know. Wait until you have everything in, then you can maybe taste it, but it's raw flour, so just be careful. I would say it's like a cake batter, sure. But you can smell the flavors. So that will tell you. So right now, this is what we're looking like with no added liquid, but there's also no additional flour in here. So it's just a gauge. I already know I'm gonna need to add a little bit of liquid, which is fine. 150 grams of milk set aside. Where's this little one? So we're gonna melt some butter to also add in here, and we're gonna add some vanilla extract for flavor. If you don't want to use vanilla extract, you can actually use a different extract. All depends on the flavor that you're looking for. So for the butter, it's gonna be about 30 grams, which is about 2 tablespoons. And the same for the sugar. The sugar was 25 grams, which is about 2 tablespoons, give or take. Again, I only work in weights. So the conversion is a little, you have to actually double check, but it should work. Okay, so I have that here. You need flour and spices. You can make your own pumpkin spice with some cinnamon, some nutmeg, ginger, allspice, and cloves. Mix it all together, and then you can get your pumpkin spice. But I'm not making my pumpkin spice blend. I'm just gonna add. I'm just gonna piece of that. So I do like working in twos. So dry in one, wet in the other. I'm able to actually gauge what I have going on. And I know sugar is dry, but because I want the sugar granulate to be dissolved, it has to be a wet mixture. But for the flour, just double check. It's going to be about 100 grams, and that is about 3/4 cups. I'm using all-purpose flour, the only flour I use. This is the first time I'm making this pumpkin pancake, so it may be iffy. We may have, it may work, it may not work. But that's the point of all of this. Is to have a good time, figure it out. Okay, so we're gonna add all our spices and everything that we need in the flour, mix them together, and then that's the last thing we're gonna add. Now, we do need a little bit of baking soda. It just adds to the lift, just a little bit, because I find without the added boost from the baking soda, it is going to be a bit dense, and I don't want a dense pancake. I actually want really nice, light, and fluffy pancake. So that's why we're using this. So for the baking soda, we're gonna add about half teaspoon. And don't forget to vote. Vote for what you want to see made tomorrow because we're back again tomorrow. So half teaspoon is about 3 grams, 2 to 3 grams roughly. So we're gonna put half teaspoon of baking soda. Ginger, we're probably just gonna add like a 1/4 teaspoon. Maybe an eighth, like 1/4 teaspoon of ginger. Allspice and cloves are gonna be an eighth because they're very strong flavors. I don't want it to overpower my pumpkin. I don't. So 1/8 teaspoon well, of cloves. Allspice. What is this? Allspice. And there we go. And an eighth, a little under an eighth teaspoon because they're so strong. You know what I'm saying? Like it's such a strong spice. You don't want it to overpower it. You also don't want it to change colors on you. I mean, it's gonna change regardless. But you just want nice flavor palette. You don't want it overpowered. Or also add some cinnamon and nutmeg. If you wanted to add like cardamom, you could. Okay, Mr. Perfection, good morning. So if you wanted to add cardamom, you could, right? I think it's all about the blend that you're going for. Make your blend unique. I'm not a cinnamon, but so we're gonna add 1 teaspoon. That's a lot of cinnamon. Half a teaspoon of cinnamon. 1 teaspoon just seems like a lot for this small batch. Even this seems like a lot. So I did about half teaspoon of cinnamon, and for the nutmeg, I'm just gonna grate it. I like fresh nutmeg. It adds some warmth to this product. The point is to experiment and figure out what blends work for you and what you like and all the flavors that you're going for to combine. So nutmeg, a quarter to a half teaspoon. You don't want too much because nutmeg tends to go bitter on you. Not what you want. You just want a nice, subtle spice, right? You don't want too much of one thing. And all of a sudden it tastes like you're going for. So this is the spices and the flour that we're mixing in, along with a little bit of baking soda. Smells really nice, as you can see. Don't forget to vote. We're back here tomorrow. Whatever you vote for is what I make tomorrow online. So please vote. If not, make what I want. But these Bakeathons are supposed to be fun. We're figuring it out. We're trying to learn sourdough as we go, so that's the point of this, while creating delicious things. Okay, so my flour is set aside to have my butter. Also, can keep my actually make some more. I also have some homemade vanilla. We're gonna add about 1 teaspoon. Find it. Usually I do like a tablespoon, but 1 teaspoon is good enough if I can find it. Okay, we're just gonna do half tablespoon. I have to re-up on my so I like making it as well. So we're gonna add the vanilla in. See all that good stuff in here? Gotta get that out. Standards. That is the goodness. That is the vanilla that you want. We're also gonna add the butter. This is melted butter. This is 30 grams, which is about 2 tablespoons. So we're gonna add that and we're gonna mix it in. Now this is my first time making sourdough pumpkin pancakes, but I've made waffles before with pumpkin. They were delicious. All on my channel, you can check them out. But for the sourdough bake-a-thon, it's going to be all pumpkin for the next 5 days because it is pumpkin season. So we mix that in, vanilla's in. So right now, it's looking like I will need the milk, but not. Hi, T. Thanks for joining. How you guys doing this morning? We also need to add some salt because salt will just enhance the flavors that are in here. Typically, I like to add the salt to something and then add it to my discard. But if I was using regular yeast, I would not add the salt to the yeast. I would add the salt to the flour. But because sometimes the salt doesn't dissolve properly when you just add it straight to the flour, sometimes I add it to the mixture, like to a liquid and then add it in. I'm gonna use all of this. We're gonna use about 1 teaspoon of salt, which is about 5 grams, roughly, give or take. I'm just gonna mix that together. Because if you add salt directly to yeast, it kills the yeast. Sugar feeds the yeast, and salt kills it. Just so that you have an idea. Some people might tell you no, but I've had experiences. I've done my experiments. I can tell you for a fact. It will not rise. So we're gonna add the milk in. This is about 2/3 cups, which is about 150 grams of milk. Just gonna add all of it. Put some salts in here. We are gonna hope for the best. Oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So we're mixing it in. And this is the only time that you can overmix because once you add the flour, that's it. You don't want to overmix it. You kind of just want to moisten it just so that you don't get a tough. Nothing worse than eating a tough pancake. Like, who wants a tough pancake? So while all of this is chilling, I'm just gonna put my stove on. I'm gonna move you over here for a minute. I'm gonna put the stove on just so that you guys know I'm hungry. I'm hungry. That's it. You're gonna just put the stove on just so that it can be warmed. So once we move over, that's all we do. So this is it. If you see those black little things in here, that's just pumpkin. Okay, my pumpkin got character. My pumpkin got some sweet character going on. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna add the flour. Just this, just to get a clean mix. And this is flour, spices, and baking soda. And that does not look like a lot of flour. I'm so concerned. Just gently mix, fold, but do it gently. I love the color. I know this is gonna be like a golden brown situation happening here. So you're gonna just want your flour to be absorbed and not a lot of liquid just floating around. Now, if you wanted to add like nuts, you could here. You can add some nuts, some raisin if you're a raisin person. Like walnuts or pecans would be good. Golden raisins would also be good. But if you wanted like a color contrast, you could throw some like Thompson or Sultan, sorry, raisins. So you just want to go through just to make sure like there's no like flour lumps, and it has that like 3 times. My goodness, God. So basically, this is what you have. Okay, any flour lump, you kind of just pass your spatula or your spoon over it, just so that it can actually get absorbed, and you'll be good. So once you're ready, you cook it. It's a pancake. I'm excited. This is what I sure did. I'm so excited. I'm hungry. See, I do like waffles, but I haven't fully tested out a waffle maker with the sourdough. Every time I've done it, it says, not today, ma'am. We ain't doing that. So I'm just gonna move you over here to the stove so you can get a full glance at what is happening. And you see all this brown stuff? I made plantain yesterday and I'm reusing it. That's what I do. Okay. So it's gonna have a nice flavor. And pot is well nice and seasoned. Okay? Fully seasoned. So it's good to go. I'm gonna add oil. I shouldn't add all of this. Like this much oil. But the first one is never the first one is always, iffy out here. But that's okay. And we're just gonna set up our plate that will drain the rest of the oil. And we're gonna make it work. I hope you guys are having a good day. Well, happy Thanksgiving if you're from Canada and you celebrate. Today's our Thanksgiving day. And I felt for some pancakes this morning. But I did want to start off, with breakfast. But don't forget to vote, guys. Vote, 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 vote. We're back here tomorrow. Let me see what the votes are looking like. 67% want flatbread, 33% want cornbread. Nobody wants biscuits. That's haters. But that's okay. I'm okay with either one. Either one. Thanks, girl. Okay, so this, you can use a ladle, you can use a big spoon, you can use a little spoon, you can use whatever you have. Stop falling. The pot's not hot enough. Problem number one, please. You always have this problem. You know how to cook, girl. But as your batter sits, I'm gonna bring you close just so you can see. Don't worry, this is cooking. But as your batter sits, you will see that you're gonna get like the little air pockets happening. That's the sourdough and the baking soda reacting. That's a little scientific thing happening right here. And it's gonna give it a nice little push because without it, and I've done this many times, you guys know, it will be very dense. And you don't want a dense pancake, you don't want a dense baked product. Now, if you do mix this without the baking soda, you're gonna have to let this sit for an extended period of time so that the sourdough actually does what it needs to do to get that rise. Okay? I tested this multiple times. You have evidence all on the live stream. It needs a little baking soda action for some things. For bread, no. But for baked products and products like this, yes. So muffins, cakes, cookies, maybe. Not always. But we have a little bubble action happening. I'm excited because I have my maple syrup that I'm gonna eat with this. And I put a little dollop of my pumpkin butter. Okay. Just because, why not? Gonna be a good time. Oh yes, look at that. Oh, it smells delicious. Now, I only put about 25 grams of brown sugar. If you use white sugar, this is going to be a little sweeter, like your batter is going to be sweet. I just used brown sugar because I'm also going to be eating this with maple syrup. I don't want an overly sweet pancake, but I also want a pancake that I can sit down and eat as is without anything. And this is what you have here. My pumpkins weren't sweet. That's okay. Okay. You looking good. Let's see if we can put something on here. The longer this sits without like interruption, the better your pancake will be, right? Doesn't need to be perfectly round. That's okay. We don't like perfect round here. Perfection is fake. But the first one looks good. As we go on, they'll get better over time. And you get a nice crispy edge, which I love on a good pancake. Crispy, crispy edge. Yes, ma'am. Pumpkin on top of pumpkin on top of pumpkin. You lucky I don't make some maple pumpkin syrup. Because you already know I will. You already know. Just pumpkin on top of pumpkin on top of pumpkin. Okay? If flatbread wins, flat pumpkin flatbread was pumpkin butter. What? Just so you know. The first one, iffy, don't look good because the oil isn't hot enough. But depending on how high your heat is, you're either gonna get nice and brown or you're gonna get nice and golden. It just depends. We're gonna do this step by step. Doesn't matter. We're probably gonna get about 10 to 15 pancakes, maybe 12. Yeah, about that 12. Or between that, and it all depends on the size of the spoon. You can use a ladle. You can use a squirt bottle. If you like them perfectly round, you can use whatever you want. Um, the question is, I don't know why it's hidden. Oh, am I gonna make some with nuts? I don't have nuts at the moment, so no. I do have raisins. So maybe the last few because I love raisins. I have raisins, but I don't have any nuts. I do have to go and purchase some nuts because biscotti is on the list, and we're gonna actually make the biscotti with nuts. And I think I still have chocolate here, so we're probably gonna dip it whole shebang. As long as I have time. We're gonna make it and dip it and decorate it with some chocolate. If I still have chocolate. I'm the queen of chocolate. Not yet. I my pan can probably hold two at a time. Oh, why am I rushing? How am I to rush? You call me? It's okay. The next round, I'll do two. Well, multiple. We'll do two at a time. And that's good. But yeah, so I think the last few, they're gonna have some raisins. And to be fair, like if you're a person that you really like chocolate, not chocolate, but you want pumpkin chunks, like right here would be the best time to one, add your nuts, two, add your extra pumpkin pieces. Just cut them up nice and small and just sprinkle it around. Even add a little bit of cinnamon sugar. Give it a different texture and effect. Like you can just having plain pancakes like me. You could do so much, honestly. So much. But you do get a nice rice. I'll show you this one. Especially if you don't put it back like I do. If you just let it cook naturally, I'll show you the rice that you get. I'm sure you can see it, but I'll lift it up and show you. Patting it down just makes the rice go away, but you do get a good rice. You do definitely get a good lift. And the longer it stays, because it's sourdough, so the longer it stays, the more fermented it gets, the more it gets to do its own thing, right? So this, see the lift? Come on. There we go. You get a nice little lift. Your pancake ain't like left per se. It's a good little lift, you know? But I'm gonna whip this up with some for my breakfast. And this is probably gonna keep me full for a couple of hours. I was gonna like cook something different, but honestly, cooking is tiring. It's tiring. It's not something I want to do today. I cooked some rice last night because I was really hungry, so I would just eat rice and something. No real Thanksgiving cooking. Maybe for Christmas. Not instead of oil and you want to use butter, use butter. Use whatever you want. It's your pancake. It works. Use whatever you want. I'm just using the excess oil that I have. It's not walnut. That's yeah. So sprinkle some nuts here. Sprinkle some chocolate. If you chop chocolate, like dark chocolate, into that. Honestly, even like the oatmeal sugar blend. This is seconds. They're gonna be mixed in. But like right here. So if you wanted to add like cinnamon sugar with some oatmeal, and by oatmeal I mean dried oats. And mix it in. You just be creative. Do whatever you think will taste good for you. Pretty much. Because some people are watching who's like, I hate raisins. They're so delicious though. You eat grapes, then enjoy the raisins. Basically, you kind of just, you work with what you got. That's all it is. Work with what you have. And don't forget to vote. We're back here again tomorrow for day number 2 of our Bakeathon. I really hope flatbread wins. Fingers crossed flatbread. Because I made sweet potato flatbread on with dough that wasn't meant for flatbread. And it was like the best thing ever. It was the best. I think most of the times when I make things spontaneously like that, they come out very well. When I sit and plan too much, it's like, girl, do you even know what you're spontaneous? I was even thinking about making funnel cake with sourdough. You know how delicious that would be. But I'm thinking we might have a funnel cake in the month of October. I didn't have any funnel cake this year. I normally do. I normally go somewhere. I will make me get a funnel cake. Nothing. Did I even have a summer? What's that? Is there even a summer if you don't have a funnel cake? The shame. Being an adult sucks. Oh, jeez. You go anywhere to get a funnel cake. So we might make a funnel. Yes, yes. I think we are going to make funnel cake sometime in October because why not? Oh, girl, it sure would be. The flatbreads are whew, so good, and they puff up like a pita pocket, pita pocket, a pita bread puff up so nicely, so good. I'm so happy I bought that skillet. Listen, I had that skillet for over 15 years. I was in my I need kitchen stuff bag, right? And then I started going to warehouses instead of actually going to the store. And I don't even know if the warehouse is still there, but I went to the warehouse and my skillet was like $5 or $10. And those are usually like $20 to $30 in the supermarkets, in other stores. So yeah. But we're good. We're good. We're good for time. I'm not feeling stressed. I am going to take my time. enjoy this beautiful breakfast meal. I'm also thinking that maybe if you wanted to add, because right now this is like 120 grams of pumpkin. So maybe if it had a little more, maybe like 130 grams. I'm not pushing it. You'll get a brighter color, but it still works because I smell the pumpkin flavor. If you smell it, but you also smell the spices that are in here. You smell everything. It just smells delicious, honestly. I'm not mad at it. Oh, 50% went to flatbread. Are we tied? She don't want no pancakes. She want waffles. She doesn't want pancakes. She wants some waffles. Christmas. We gonna make waffles for Christmas. We're gonna make a Christmas waffle. Don't ask me how. We're gonna make Christmas. If it works out the way I want it to, baby, we gonna be cooking up with all sorts of randomness for Christmas, plus sourdough, okay? Because have you ever had a sourdough raisin bread French toast? What? What? I'm just saying, ooh, biscuits gotta vote. You gotta vote. If you want more, you gotta tell your friends to come and vote because whatever vote wins is what we're making tomorrow. Oh, you gotta vote. Gotta tell some people to come and help you. Because I'm telling you, these people in there voting, they're serious. Yes. Yeah, I ain't gonna hold you guys because I'm not gonna sit here and talk about I'm only gonna eat now. The tester's gonna be one, and then three's gonna be on my plate. That's four total. I'm gonna eat it. Ain't no shame in my game. And the funny thing is, they're so light and flavorful. You can't just eat one. If you eat one, it's like, did you really eat a pancake? Like, are you kidding me? No. Sit down right now. Put some butter on this. I could put my pumpkin butter on this and eat it. Like, I'm telling you, it's not, like there's something about there's something about the sourdough pancake. No man, like I really. So we got 50% for flatbread, 25% for cornbread, and 25% for biscuits. I don't know. Y'all need to tell a friend to come and help you vote, okay? Because the biscuits, it could be either we could either do like a sweet biscuit or we could do another cheddar biscuit because I feel the cheddar biscuit would be so good with pumpkin. Okay, you better get a friend to help you vote. That's all I'm saying. Oh, that's right. See, the last set I'm gonna just for you. I'm gonna put the raisins in. Keep forgetting. Put the raisins in for you, girl. And another trick that you can do if if you know you're using raisins for something in a recipe, you can soak them. Soak them in a little bit of, depending on what you're making, right? If you're making something with rum, soak it in the rum, right? If you're making something like with spices and you also have milk in there, you can soak it with some of the spice, some of the milk, and soak the raisins. The raisins takes on the flavor of whatever you have it soaked in, right? So that's a little tip I can share. You don't have to pay for that. You just pay for all of that stuff. That one's free of charge. That way, when you bite into it, because right now my raisins are dry, super dry. But if I had soaked these ahead of time, like maybe 30 minutes before I started, When you bite into them, they're gonna be nice and plump. Okay, it adds to the overall vibe. Okay, true story, not lying. True story. It does. It gives you a better mouthfeel. You never have you ever not eaten something that has raisins in there and biting into this hard thing? Jeez. It's so hard. And then you look, oh, it's the raisins. Yeah, it's because the raisins weren't soaked before they bake them. Usually you find that in commercial bakes, but if it's something homemade, sometimes the bakers do it. No, I do it because the final result is what's important for me. So that's something that you can do. So if you're doing bread and you know your bread has milk or water and a little bit of sugar, right? You add some of your water and some of your sugar here, cover it, let it soak, and the raisins will plump up. And then once you're ready to add your raisins into your dough, you add everything because that would have been the same amount of water that you would need, right? So you're not adding anything to change the recipe. All you're doing is just what should have already been in there. Okay? Did Mr. Potential say he don't like raisins? You didn't eat bun? Because I know you from Antigua and I know you eat bun. And if you tell me you don't eat raisin bun, you eat coconut bun, I'm you really Antiguan. Bun is a must. Not bun, but raisin. Coconut, raisin. Okay? Coconut. Yeah, I like oatmeal cookies with raisin. So I'm different. I will eat all day, every day. I eat raisins by themselves. I just eat it because I want to. But I'm okay. I'm good with this. This is from pancakes that we have. They're nice and soft. That's it. 9, 10, 10 to 15, roughly. You'll So the last few, we're gonna just add some raisins. I don't think I have chocolate because I would chocolate, but pumpkin and chocolate go. Pumpkin and dark chocolate, perfect. You can do pumpkin with white chocolate, but you have to ensure that it's not overly sweet because white chocolate is sweet. Right? You just gotta know what you're looking for in terms of taste and just work within that parameter. You want things to highlight your flavor, not overpower it. You do that? I don't know. This smells really good. And they freeze very well. So if you make a bunch and you don't want to eat it all at once, just freeze them. Now I would freeze them in stacks of twos or threes, depending on how you eat your pancakes. Just so that you just take them out in a stack instead of like having to fight. If you're gonna stack all of them together, separate them with parchment paper so that they don't stick when they're frozen. Because once the oil, use butter, once the oil and the butter gets from the group, gets solidified, things stick together. See how I know? I've done this. I am telling you, so you don't have to make the same mistakes I did. But you can if you want to, just to see if I'm telling them. Okay? But I don't lie to you. I want you to have the same experience or an even better experience than I did when I started. But again, you'll only know unless you experience. That's how you know things work or they don't work. Just gotta do what you need to do to figure things out. Feasible. They're good in the fridge for a couple of days, but I just freeze mine right here. So they're as fresh. They're fresh and good as new. No issues. But this is good. We're good. Again, if you want to use some butter, use butter. If oil is all you have, use oil. In the recipe, if you don't want to use melted butter, you can use a neutral oil. The point is you just need a lubricant. That's all. If you don't want to use brown sugar, use white sugar. If you don't want to use white sugar, try maple syrup. The point is to just try and experiment. Yeah, see, even that's even better. Freeze them flat first and then put them in the bag. That's even better. That way it prevents sticking for sure. But yeah, I like to freeze mine right away. So that honestly, in the morning times, I want to get up and make breakfast. I want to get up and grab and go. I will pop it in the toaster, they're firm, pop them bad boys in the toaster, boom. Pop it in the oven. Whichever one I feel like. I like convenience. Do I want to pay for it all the time? No. But I like making my life easier. But these are looking good. They're smelling good. Nice golden hue brown, nice crispy edges. It's what we look for in a pancake. I hope you noticed that I was not mixing this around because the more you mix, the tougher your pancakes are going to be. Now, I know you don't want to eat them hard or rough and tough. Like, who wants to do that? All you need to do is scoop, and the last bit is probably going to be the one that might have a little bit of friction. Not all of it. Your pancakes are supposed to be nice and soft and fluffy, just like these. Okay, I'm still looking at the votes. 50% for flatbread. If you want to see something baked tomorrow, now is your chance. Because once I shut it down, I shut it down. Oh, I think for fried raisins. I wonder how that would taste. I feel like the raisins would explode on me. I've fried raisin in dough before, but I've never actually fried raisins on its own. Maybe I can coat the raisins in some sourdough and see how that works. Maybe stop. I couldn't watch me fry some raisins. Be like, girl, I need to try this. But yeah, no, we're good. Pancakes are smelling delicious. Funny, I never used to like making pancakes from scratch. At first. It never, I don't know if it's because sometimes for me, it like never came out. It just didn't have the taste I was going for. It's just something. I love them. I like the sourdough pancake. Kind of like sourdough consumes my life, and then That's all I know right now. Do I even know how to make things without sourdough? You know? I think in the new year we're gonna alternate. Do 1 month sourdough, 1 month no sourdough. Right? We're gonna alternate. I feel like it'll be a good vibe. So start with sourdough and end with sourdough, and the ones in between, you know, there'll be a Bakeathon, but it'll just be regular bakes. I think that would be good. I just want to set it up where I can manage. Oh, pancakes are done. It's gonna be good. I am so excited to eat this. I'm done sad. I try my hardest not to eat the raisins, but I'm hungry. Oh yes, yes, yes. We made about I think 50. Listen, these are all pancakes. These are the sourdough pumpkin pancakes. Okay, delicious. They smell amazing. I'm looking for my plate. And it's what I'm gonna partake in just now. As you can see, some have raisins, some don't. You don't have to put raisins, but they're soft. They're very, very soft, and they smell good. And we're about to try one. And by we, I mean me. Mm, mm. This is what I mean. I can sit down and just eat this. What? And this is what it looks like. You get some pumpkin chunks in there. Oh my god. Mm-mm. Baby, this is better than the sweet potato. Oh my goodness. They're so, ooh. You got the pumpkin flavor coming through, and then you get the subtle spices that bring it all together. And you get the you get the sourdough flavor, but it's so subtle, like it just blends right in, and it's so good. Oh my god! Again, these are the pancakes. In case you're joining now, I'm gonna look at the votes because I'm gonna end the votes in a bit. We're still 50% flatbread, 25% cornbread, and 25% what's the other one? Biscuit. Mm, it's so smooth. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's so good. Mm, not shocked, but I think because I'm hungry, it's really good. Mm, yes. My husband. I can't eat one. But guys, this is it. We made some pancakes with pumpkin and sourdough. Some have raisins, some don't. We have this going on. Today is day number one of our Bakeathon. We come back again tomorrow, and it looks as if we are going to be making flatbread tomorrow with pumpkin. So I'm going to end the votes. That's it. Yeah, it's tomorrow we're back here. It is going to be an evening live because I do have classes in the morning. So we're going to be making flatbread tomorrow. Then I can eat my pumpkin flatbread with my pumpkin butter. Listen, that's it for today. you so much for showing up. I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you. We'll be back here tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that. Want to see flatbread? So we have 4 more days of experiments. So if you need a vote, you better tell your friend to come and vote. Okay. Again, these were the pancakes. Super delicious, super soft and fluffy. I'm ready to go in my belly. All right. That is it. I'll see you guys back here tomorrow because we are going to be making flat with pumpkin. Now I can jazz it up, but we'll see. All right. That's it for now. And I'll see you back here tomorrow.